Okay, everybody, 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here. It is Monday, the 26th, and still no development expected for the next 7 days, although that might be changing by the end of this upcoming weekend, Labor Day weekend. But I think if you've got any plans here locally or even in the Caribbean between now and the end of the week, I think things are actually looking pretty good. But things are going to change. So first today, I thought I would talk about why things have been so quiet. Obviously, we're not expecting any development. One of the reasons why is wind shear. And wind shear kind of blows the storms apart, right? This is the current wind shear. There's not a lot of wind shear out there. There has been, up at especially what we call 200 millibar level, there's been quite a bit of wind shear up here. And that's been trying to tear the tops off of anything that even tries to develop. But it's been a hard time to even develop out there anyways. There's been quite a bit of dust in the atmosphere. This is the forecast through this week into this upcoming weekend. That's Saturday of Labor Day weekend. And there's still pretty good amounts of dust coming off of Africa that you can see in here. It's tough to see, but there's more in here and a little stripe right in here. That dries out the atmosphere and makes it harder for storms to form. This is about a week and a half from now. And you can see, this is not this Wednesday, but next, of course. But you can see that it does thin out a little bit as far as the dust goes. Now, another thing that's been happening, the normal storm track, you can see down here, these storms come off the intertropical convergence zone, come out over here, and kind of start drifting, eventually gain a little latitude and get more spin in the atmosphere. What's been happening, a lot of these storms have been a little bit further to the north, and they're coming off in this area right here, which, number one, you can see the dust in the air right there, right? Well, you see that little blurriness? That's dust. So that's drier air, but it's also cooler water. And so it needs that really warm water, which is down here. This is temperatures above or below average. So it's still warm, but it's not as warm as it could be. And so that also kind of makes it harder for these storms to form. Now, this is the wind shear as we get going into the next several days, and we'll be watching that main development region. And yeah, not a lot of wind shear in that area. So that will drop. Wind shear in the Atlantic was actually relatively high for most of the month of August. I mean, this is 26, we're getting near the end now. But most of the months had pretty high wind shear out here in the Atlantic. It's been lower in the Caribbean. But it looks like that wants to change just a little bit. The Climate Prediction Center puts this out. They updated this last Tuesday, and they're going to do it again for tomorrow. But this is the area that says greater than 60% chance of development the week of September 3rd through the 9th. So we'll see. That actually went through the end of the, it was about basically the 28th of August for about a week, right, through about the 4th or 5th. So that'll get updated as we get going into tomorrow afternoon, hopefully, right? So now let's talk about the forecast models. First of all, we don't have a lot going on, right? We know that. No development expected next 7 days. This is the European model. And the shaded areas are the possibility for tropical depressions, right? And you can see by the time we get towards Saturday, we will start watching this area, the MDR, the main development region, just for possible development. And a little bit in the Western Gulf. It's trying to sense something there. This is tropical storm. See, it doesn't see anything like that. It does potentially say, hey, we could be looking at some tropical storm development by the 3rd of September, and then extends it off. This is, again, tropical depression. So it's sniffing it out just a little bit. This is the European version. And basically what you're seeing here are all of these lows. There won't be that many, but that's the multiple runs of the model saying, yeah, we're sniffing something here. There's a couple things here on the in the Gulf that doesn't look too interesting, but it's something to watch. But looking at this, you look at two different waves. And this would be, what's the date on this? By about the 4th of September. So you get the idea. It's sniffing something out. This is the GFS. The GFS has a little bit more on it. But again, you've kind of got, oh, don't want to do that. I want to do this. You kind of got this little area out here, and then you got a second area back in here. And you don't have a lot out here in the Gulf. Okay, at least that's the ensemble runs. Look at this. Look at the Gulf of Mexico. Now this is, now you're going to see this online, and I want to show you this because I want you to look at this time up here. This is saying, well, this is saying that this would be valid on Wednesday morning, September 11th, right? So this will change. It will completely change. Do not, we certainly don't show this on TV. I'll show it here just to talk about it. But this is as far out as the model goes. And what I'm talking about is this area right in here in the Gulf of Mexico. This looks like something similar to Debbie. All right, you can see that there. I know it's zoomed out. But this is the main run of the forecast model. Let's go out through Saturday of Labor Day weekend, Sunday, and then into Monday afternoon. And it's pretty quiet. And it's even trying to do something weird with a little wave off of here. But that's quiet all the way through this week. And then next week, still not a whole lot going on. The only thing the main model run does is try and develop something right there, Debbie. All right, so that's way out in time. That's what we call fiction. All right, don't buy into that. I see a lot of it. I see a lot of people posting it saying you shouldn't post it. So I don't understand that. You know, if you see those plots like that, let them go. So here we go. Now this is the European model. This is for Saturday evening of this upcoming weekend, Labor Day weekend. And you see something right here in the middle. All right, right in the main region of the Atlantic. Right in there. All right. Now watch that area. We go a little bit further. Closes off a low there. This is Monday, Labor Day evening, 8 o'clock. So yeah, you're heading to St. Martin. Probably Monday night and Tuesday. That's Tuesday afternoon right there. A weak low forming. And then this one wants to take it right over Puerto Rico or maybe just to the south. A little far out in time to figure that one out. So, but anyways, bottom line is by the end of this upcoming weekend is when we think something's going to start to pop. This is another way to look at it. That's the GFS. And look at all those little circles there, right? We're not going to see that many lows, but what that's telling me, let me back out to the beginning. Watch this high pressure system. Look how big this thing is sitting here like that, right? You see that? Now, when I jump back out here, look at that. It's gone. It's not gone, but I mean, that's all that's left of it. And then the weakness that's occurring here pretty much opens the door for things that get far enough north to come up and out. And that's what we want, right? That's the curve that we want. And you can see the GFS is saying, hey, there's definitely some kind of low somewhere in the Northeast Islands by the time we get towards the end of this week. And this is actually Tuesday night, Wednesday of next week. So this is a week away. And then most likely recurving, right? Just, you can't trust any of that, but you can get an idea of what the trend is in the model. This is the European version of that, and you can see all the little L's right there. They too are thinking something in the Northeast Islands by about Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, and then it's breaking down that ridge, right? See how that ridge broke down? There's just not much left of it, and that just opens the door for these to come up and out. There's the East Coast of the United States right there if you're having trouble seeing it, right? So that is the pattern right now. There's a couple different things going on. It does look like we will be looking at a quiet next several days. I do think we will see things start to pop up a little bit by the end of this upcoming weekend, and maybe even in the middle of it on Saturday. But at that point, I think it's out in the open Atlantic. And then eventually, by the time we get into next week, things should start to pop up just a little bit. And these things will come in waves. Oh, I will say, let me show you before I let you go. This is the MJO, and that has not changed since I showed you what it looked like last week. So this area right in here, basically going through the 5th of September, shows a lot of sinking air. After that, all the way through the 5th of October, that is rising air. That, to me, would be a more active period. So that's the way it looks right now. Hopefully, even if it is active, it all recurves out to sea and avoids Bermuda. All right, but that's where we're looking at right now. So I'll update you probably on Wednesday, let you know how things are going. Thanks, guys.